Upload. This is a very cool feature. I can upload other files I've already created. So let's maybe say you have a library of Microsoft Office documents that you have, and maybe you're working on school and you want to upload those to the Google server so you have access to them anywhere in the world. You can actually do that by just selecting the files to upload. And you click on files to upload, you find it on your local computer, and it's going to upload it and put it into the cloud for cloud computing. File types and size limits are listed right there. If you click on that, it just drops down. This is going to show you all the things it'll convert. It'll convert documents, PDF files, PowerPoints, Excel, all those types of files it'll actually convert for you and put them into a Google format so you can edit and work with them. Very, very handy. Let's go ahead and exit out of that. I want to go back to Google Documents, and I want to go back to my document. Notice again it popped out another tab for me, so I got to go back to the other tab. No big deal. Just get used to working with tabbed browsing, because that's going to be something that's huge with this type of software. So let's go to File, and see revision history is something I'm going to cover in a later part, because it is going to be part of the collaboration type stuff that we're going to do, and you can actually see who's been working on it and things like that, so that'll be very handy. Rename, just like it says, if I want to rename my document to this is the new document 2, I can do that. I can say rename and say OK, and now when I go back here and I refresh, it should say this is a new document 2, and indeed it does. Now if I go back to File, I got Make a Copy. This would be handy. Let's say that this is a template that I'm making. It's a worksheet that has questions on it. I want to make a copy of it and then make some changes to that copy. Well, I can just make a copy, and then when I make a copy, it's going to say, would you like to create a new copy of the documents? And you say OK. And this also copy document collaborators. That is something we're going to get into again in later episodes, because it involves who else is editing the document. I'm just going to say OK because I don't have any collaborators right now. And here it comes. It's got a blank new document, and it says copy of this is a new document too. So now I have a copy of it, and it says updated seconds ago. And let's go over to here and refresh just to see what happened. And indeed, I have my copy of this is a new document. So really easy to make a second copy of the same file. Going to be handy in certain situations, and again, we'll kind of cover it. Download as. This is something that you're going to use a lot of. You're going to actually be able to download this file into another format. So where it's in the cloud right now, it's on Google server. When I download it, I'm downloading it to this PC, the one that you're working on right now. And I can download it as a PDF or text or a Word document or an HTML file if you're into web design or you're doing something like that. So this is very, very cool. You'll use this all the time, especially when you need to make PDFs. I make PDFs for the school all the time, and it works really well because I don't have to have any fancy converters or anything. I can just make my little document up, hit PDF, now it's a PDF, and I can put it online where most people can access it, because that's really why you make PDF. It's a good format, it looks the same to everybody, and it's going to be handy for passing out. Or if you say, hey man, this other guy that I want to give this to, he's got a Word system, he's got Microsoft Word on there, then you download it as a Word file, give it to him that way. That works good too. Then we've got page setup. Page setup is kind of real basic, because again, most things you're going to do are either portrait or landscape. Most things you're going to do are on the standard paper size, although there's a couple others available. Margins are always set to 1 inch all the way around, and that's actually a default kind of standard thing that you're going to do with APA and MLA style. So these are going to be things that are built right into the computer. Last things, I've got print settings. This is where I can say, hey, do you want to include the annotations? And we're going to talk about that as we get into marking up this document. I can actually include annotations. I can make changes in little notes and things like that on there that say, hey, maybe you should have used this word instead of that word. Or it's really handy for teachers. It's also handy for collaboration. And if I want to print those with the file, then I would do that. Print preview. This is where you can actually preview the document as it would look as it's going to be printed. It will look just like this as well. So the print preview is there. You might not use it very often, but it's there. Print. This is where you're going to actually just print the document to a printer. Now I would show you that, but on this, I've got a new laptop here, and this one does not have a printer hooked up, so it wouldn't really work very well for you. And I also find that I don't need to print because I'm using this cloud-based computing. So instead of printing, what I like to do is I like to share. So if I have 28 students in my class, I would share this document with all 28 students rather than printing the document out for 28 students to use. Saves a lot of paper, saves a lot of printing cost. It's really the way of the future, but you can do it right now with this. So I print very little on this. Alright, let's look at one last thing. We're going to look at the edit commands. I think this is very simple. Undo, that's going to undo what you've done last. Redo, that's going to redo what you've done last. Cut, copy, paste, you should be familiar with these. If you're not, you're going to want to look at some more basic training videos. Those are very simple. Select all, this will select all the information. And finally, find and replace. This is if you have a large document and maybe you used a word wrong throughout the document and you want to change it, you could find that word and then you could replace it. So I could say find this and replace with that. And I'll say replace all, and you'll see on my document here that it replaced that word with that one. Okay, that's kind of what that's going to do. Now in part 3 we're going to cover some of the other menu options. We're going to cover view, insert, and format, and we're going to cover tools and table in the last one, and then we're going to talk about some advanced things like templates, things like that. So make sure you visit mrcross.org for some more training videos, and I hope you have a great day.